program discusses matters of health and wellness and is for educational purposes only and does not provide professional medical advice. Please consult your physician for personalized medical advice if you're seeking medical advice, diagnoses, or treatment. The views and opinions expressed on this program are that of the host and/or the views of the persons interviewed and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of CHLY 101.7 FM, its staff, sponsors, volunteers, or members.
Welcome to episode 39 of Orange Bench Radio here on CHLY Nanaimo, where music meets medicine. I'm your host, Derek Poderico, your friendly neighborhood family doctor, and today we're shining a light on a conversation that's close to the heart and grounded in humanity, palliative care. This isn't about giving up, it's about showing up. It's about care, compassion, and quality of life when cure isn't the focus. Joining me today is my colleague and fellow family physician, Dr. Brian Calvin. He'll unplug some of the misconceptions around palliative care, talk honestly about what it means, and explore how relationships and presence can bring meaning to the final chapters of life. Now let's welcome to the show our guest, Dr. Brian Calvin. We're chatting today on Zoom. So happy to have today is Dr. Brian Calvin, a family physician as well as a palliative care specialist. Welcome to the show, Brian.
Thank you, Derek. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, so it's so cool to have you here today. And maybe you can tell the listeners a little bit about yourself, where you're from and your story in Nanaimo.
Sure. Capsule summary. I was born and raised in Vancouver. Had a great childhood in Vancouver. Then I went to University of Victoria for my undergrad, then UBC for medical school.
Nice.
Yeah, and then I had the opportunity to go to the East Coast for internship. Dalhousie, had a great time there. My first job was working Emerge in PEI, which was great.
Oh wow, love PEI. That's a neat part of the world.
So good. So a common theme in my life at that time was I was just crazy about windsurfing, and the windsurfing in PEI it was fantastic. But then, as you probably recall, the government at the time thought that physicians were part of the problem. They're limiting billing numbers because
I remember that.
We were perceived as the entry point.
Rushing to get your billing number or place in the world.
Yeah, and the way to control costs was to control access to the system. So anyway, that was the thought of the time, and history has not been kind to that theory, but everyone was trying. It's a forever problem in Canada is how to deal with socialized medicine. Anyhow, because of that, I rushed back to Williams Lake, where I got a job in Williams Lake.
Williams Lake, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, and then I loved working there, but I didn't totally love the climate. And but I did fall in love with someone who's now my wife, and she lived in Vancouver, so I got a job in Nanaimo after a year and a half in Williams Lake.
Nice.
And yeah, so that's what brought me here. Basically, I loved working in the hospital. It was a GP-run hospital at the time. I think you came perhaps a year or two after me. Remember, we worked Emerge. We delivered babies. We had all our inpatients.
Old-time family medicine, I know.
Yeah, it was kind of how we were trained, and it was a great place to work. I loved it.
Yeah, and then it spun into palliative. How did that happen?
I think what happened was I started to contract my practice a little bit. I worked less Emerge. I lost my confidence in Emerge. Frankly, you really have to be working a lot there to be good. And I recognize, I remember the plus one started coming in. I was comparing myself to plus ones. And similarly, obstetrics, I was just up all the time delivering babies. And
I remember those days, yeah.
Yeah, so I wanted a way to reduce my practice, but still do something meaningful.
Yeah.
And then my partner, Robin Love, and then Jeff Spry were working palliative and needed a bit more manpower. So I thought, I'll go retrain and get a little more skills there.
That's
so
cool.
I went back to the University of Toronto, went to Mount Sinai, the Tammy Latner Center, and worked there for a while, got some more skills, and came back, and that's how I started in palliative.
That's so neat, because you were one of the pioneers of palliative here in Nanaimo, because I don't even think when I came to town there was a palliative care ward, and then it's just snowballed since then. Yeah,
there wasn't, and then you and I witnessed patients suffering, people suffering.
Yeah.
And it was hard to know what to do to help them because I wasn't exposed to it during training. I had no framework.
Yep.
And I also felt a little bit maybe intimidated and afraid. I wasn't sure. I was uncomfortable. How do I help my patients, right? And then in medicine, I don't know about you, but I've found if there's something's really making you afraid, move toward it, right, and learn more. So
that's beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I'm so fortunate to work with Robin and Jeff, who are about a decade older than us, and they had so much experience, and they really pioneered palliative in Nanaimo, and at the time I think there were just a few beds on floor 5, and then Robin really spearheaded getting funding for a palliative ward down below rehab,
right,
and expanded the service.
And that's what you see today. And back to the training, like your team, like as a family doctor and community, palliative care was something new to me too. Out of training, I learned so much. I think there were some CMEs and other things, but no, as colleagues, I appreciate your guys' skill and wisdom when we had on-call issues. And so, no, you've helped train a community, I think, and it's appreciated. Can you tell, Brian, the listeners a little bit about palliative care, what it means, and what is involved? I mean, that word palliative, I know some patients in the office kind of get a little bit scared or anxious about it. Maybe dispel that word if you can.
I would say palliative care is basically focusing on improving the quality of life for people who have a life-limiting condition. So that's
well said. Yeah.
My current lens is a bit biased because I no longer have my family practice, and I really work very part-time, just a week of on-call at a time in the hospital. So my lens is looking at people in the hospital who are largely, they're pretty sick, and they're often close to the end of life. But the bigger picture, I'd say, is looking at people to improve their quality of life, as you would do for your family practice in the community. Yeah.
Well said. No, it's an honor and privilege to be at the end, and we do home visits and other things to help with that transition. I think it's still being able to be there with families, and obviously the patient has been the big reward and help. I mean, it's sad, but still, I think, as said, we all die, which we've talked about on previous episodes on advanced care planning. So might as well, be there together in the end.
Hey, this is Jay Semko, and you are listening to Dr. P on Orange Bench Radio at CHLY Nanaimo. Dig it.
I'm just curious, because Orange Bench Radio is also about the music. Do you have a song that you'd like to play or dedicate to someone or something?
Well, you emailed me that last night, right? So I had a hard time going to sleep because I was just thinking about, and you also said the 80s, 90s, 2000s. So I was just thinking,
we can go earlier if you want.
I was like, I could
go rogue
for an hour, right?
Oh my gosh. Love it.
I was so into music, especially in the 80s. I love music, and I just how can you pick one song? So
we have to pick two for this show. Let's go for it.
Well, I cheated. I'm going to pick 3.
Oh, I love it. This show will be your show. Go for it.
Well, I thought, my wife and I often, you go to a hockey game or something, and you hear there people are constantly repeating old songs from our generation. I think there's so much good music that's current, right? So I thought, okay, I'm going to pick the 3 best shows I've seen in the Commodore Ballroom.
Oh, okay. Give it to me.
So in 1980, I saw Dire Straits. So there's one from our era.
My gosh, Dire Straits in the ballroom. Oh my gosh, they were huge now.
Yeah.
Okay,
so it was
and you saw them
I
when
went
they were
with my
small.
friend's older sister, and she was. It's a licensed premises, right? So you have to have ID to get in there. So of course I had fake ID that I bought on Granville Street. So Yeah, so that was a fantastic show. Dire Straits.
Okay.
And so the song I remember that was really good was In the Gallery.
In the Gallery.
Yeah, that's a great song.
Okay, so I'll just introduce this song. This is In the Gallery by Dire Straits here on Orange Bench Radio.
Harry made a bareback rider, proud and free upon a horse. And a fine coal miner for the NCB that was. Angel, Jesus on the cross. Skating ballerina, should have seen her do the skater's waltz. Some people, they got to paint and draw. Harry had to work in clay and stone. Like the waves coming to the shore, it was in his blood and in his bones. It was ignored by all trendy boys in London, yes, and in Leeds. He might as well have been making toys, strings of beads, it couldn't be. No, it couldn't be. In the gallery. No, no. In the gallery. And then you get an artist. He says he doesn't want to paint at all. Like stakes and empty canvas. And all of the fakes, while the dealers, they get together and they decide who gets the breaks and who's gonna be. Who's gonna be in the gallery? Oh yeah, in the gallery. Compromise, no jump, no string. And all the lines were subsidizing, it just don't mean a thing. I got to say, he passed away, obscurity. And now all the vultures, they're coming down from the tree. He's gonna be, yeah, he's gonna be in the gallery, yeah, in the gallery.
That was In the Gallery by Dire Straits, and we're talking with family doctor and palliative care specialist Dr. Brian Calvin. We discussed how important it is for patients to have a soft landing in the end.
Palliative care, I just want to acknowledge mostly Robin and Jeff for the hard work they've done in creating this environment.
Very cool.
I also, I can go on about this forever.
Please do.
I am so grateful to the hospital and the nurses, really, for creating an environment where families feel safe, right? And it's such a gift if you can allow your family to help look after you or your friends as you get sick. Mm-hmm. It's such a gift you can give to them, and to help people come in for a soft landing, because some people are coming in for a crash landing in the community, and if you can help them come in for a soft landing, and it's just very, very rewarding.
Hi, I'm Dr. Anita Rashidi, and you are listening to Orange Bench Radio here on CHLY Nanaimo.
Right on. So the second one is a band called Lake Street Dive, who I saw with my family in 2018.
Lake Street Dive? I don't know if I know them.
I became aware of them during Barack Obama's tenure, and now Lake Street Dive was his favorite band. I heard someone interview Barack, and I feel he's such a cool guy.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I started listening, and Lake Street Dive is amazing. They're so good.
Okay.
It's a female-led band. They've got just a wonderful vocalist and a really great bass player. And I love bass.
I'm excited to hear this.
Oh, they're so good. So, it depends which song you want to choose.
You're choosing it.
I'm going to choose a sad one then, because I'm going to...
Hey, go with the theme. Go with.
I'm going to choose one. I'm going to choose a sad one. It's called "I Can Change."
Okay,
but there's so many good ones.
Okay, that's so this is "I Can Change" by Lake Street Drive here on Orange Bench Radio.
Hey, cast a long shadow. I know that I lie in it and let it rule my mind from time to time. Escaping an old battle that clings on like a vine to me, whispers dirty lies in my ear. I know we didn't start this fight, and I won't let it rule my heart tonight. I can change, I can change, I can still change, I can still change. Tracing an old pattern, drawing the lines from where I am and from where I wanna be. Forget that old adage that history continues to keep us from the world we wanna see. I am scared that I won't get it right, but fear won't rule my heart tonight. I can change, I can change, I can still change, I can still change. I can change, I can change, I can still change, I can still change. I can change, I
was one of Dr. Calvin's favorite bands, Lake Street Drive. Today, we're chatting with him about palliative care and sharing some of the music he loves along the way. As we've said before, music is medicine.
Now you want my third one? So my third one is a very current band that we saw a year ago. I saw with my son when my dad was dying. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So his name is Theo Katzman is the name of the artist.
Okay.
He was from a band called Wolfpack, but he also tours on his own. Okay. So we saw Theo Katzman in the Commodore, and there's a really touching song that he does, which is quite poignant. It's about addiction, and it's called, which is so topical now, and it's called Plain Jane Heroin.
Whoa. So why don't you just introduce the song for the last bit here? So
There's
this
a stain
is
upon
Theo
the couch
Katzman
from
on
where I
Orange
tried
Radio.
to
It's
get
Plain
you
Jane
high.
Heroin.
There's a bruise upon my leg again. I thought we were making love, but you were sticking it in my thigh. Now I can't feel my face again. I'm hooked on the plain Jane heroin. I'm hooked on the plain Jane heroin. I will never be the same without you, Jane, and your heroin. Yeah. Twice a week, yeah, I was in control of it. But now I'm swaying backwards with no shoes upon my feet, and I can't keep a hold of it. No, no, I'm hooked on a plain Jane heroin. I'm hooked on a plain Jane heroin. Jane, and your heroin. Oh, I tried to live with Mary just to get Jane off my mind, but all it did was make the pain get worse. You medicate the symptom and you'll never solve the crime until you pick yourself up off the floor. 28 months sober and the days are all the same. The sun goes up and down again. But when I think about the way she felt inside my veins, I get bags under my eyes again. I'm hooked on the plain Jane heroin. I'm hooked on the plain Jane heroin. I will never be the same without you, Jane. Yeah, yeah. And in your heroin.
That was Theo Katzman with Plain Jane Heroin. We wrapped up our conversation with Dr. Calvin by discussing the challenges facing inpatient palliative care at NRGH and explored ways to strengthen community care, including the vital role of hospice and the need for more robust home care supports.
I mean, it's a bit of a problem in that we only have a finite number of beds in the hospital, and how do we ethically distribute that precious resource?
Right.
And the solution to that, I think, is, of course, having a hospice and even more robust home care.
Yes. No, dying at home can be just as important. But it depends on where they are in their clinical course, whether the comfort can be given at home. In most cases, it can. But like you say, when the hospital's needed, it needs to be available. And that's where I know Nanaimo has challenges at times. Yeah.
But it's way better than it was in the 90s when we first came here.
That's right. It was a wasteland, and now it's robust. And I mean, just kudos to the the palliative care ward at the hospital as somebody that does go and sees patients in his practice there as well. It has such a family medicine feel to it, and not to say anything negative to the rest of the hospital, but it's something that you and the other docs and nurses and teams there have created such a safe, warm environment where death happens, and that's pretty cool stuff.
And how much comfort it brings that family doc comes just to see their patient, even though someone may not have active privileges anymore, just coming in a familiar face, and it shows that they matter and their life's important, right? Yeah, beautiful words. Thank you, Dr. Calvin, for being on Orange Bench Radio. Yeah, thank you for inviting me. Thanks for joining us today. A special thank you to our guest, family doctor and palliative care specialist, Dr. Brian Calvin, for his time, insights, and musical selections. In Part 2, we'll explore the role of Nanaimo Hospice and other supports available to patients and families when the end of life is near. You can catch this and past episodes at orangebenchradio.ca. Got questions, comments, or ideas? Drop us a line at orangebench@chly.ca or follow us on Blue Sky or X at Orange Bench Radio for updates and links to resources mentioned today. Remember, it's all about hope and healing. Join us next Saturday at 9 a.m. for more music and conversations that matter. Big thanks to Jesse Woodward for producing and Arby Frew for technical support. I'm Derek Poderico, your friendly neighborhood family doctor, and this has been Orange Bench Radio right here on CHLY Nanaimo. Support CHLY 101.7 FM, your independent nonprofit station on the Salish Sea. Listener donations keep real voices, local stories, and eclectic music alive. Visit chly.ca/donate to help keep community radio strong.